I have always considered myself a straightforward family man. Growing up with my younger brother Aaron 4 years, my junior created an unbreakable bond between us. For years, our family gatherings were warm and welcoming until Aaron married Lisa. Something about the way she looked at me changed over time, growing increasingly suspicious without cause. This Christmas, she gifted everyone DNA testing kits, giving me a peculiar glance that sent chills down my spine. Before I tell you how a simple DNA test unraveled 20 years of family secrets, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button. If you have ever had a family member try to expose your past. Aaron and I grew up in a modest 3-bedroom house in Minneapolis. Despite the 4-year age gap, we developed an inseparable connection that weathered even our parents' messy divorce when I was 12 and he was 8. Our mother gained primary custody of me while Aaron spent more time with our father due to my increasingly strained relationship with him. The separation of our parents created a fork in our paths, but I made sure to maintain our brotherhood across different households. Every other weekend, I would ride my bike 4 miles to visit Aaron at our father's new apartment. Even as a 12-year-old, I felt a responsibility to protect him from the emotional fallout of our broken home. I would arrive with comic books hidden in my backpack and snacks I had purchased with my allowance money. Those small gestures kept our connection alive during those turbulent years. "Bert, you are the only one who makes this place feel like home," Aaron once told me during one of those visits. His words cemented my role as his protector, a responsibility I carried into adulthood. As we grew older, our lives took different directions academically. I pursued a practical degree in civil engineering at the University of Minnesota, while Aaron followed his passion for literature at Northwestern. Despite attending different colleges in different states, we called each other weekly and spent holidays together. When Aaron called me during his junior year, his voice carried an excitement I had not heard since childhood. "I met someone, Bert. Her name is Lisa, and she is absolutely brilliant," he gushed over the phone. "She is studying psychology. Wants to become a therapist. You will love her." 6 months later, I drove to Chicago to meet this woman who had captured my brother's heart. My first impression of Lisa was overwhelmingly positive. She had a warm smile, intelligent eyes, and seemed genuinely interested in getting to know me. Over dinner at a small Italian restaurant near campus, she asked thoughtful questions about my childhood, with Aaron laughing at the stories of our youthful misadventures. "Aaron talks about you like you hung the moon," she said, touching my brother's hand affectionately. "It is clear how much you mean to him." That weekend, watching them together, I felt relief knowing Aaron had found someone who appeared to value family as much as we did. When they announced their engagement a year after graduation, I was the first person Aaron called. I served proudly as his best man at their wedding 7 years ago, delivering a speech that brought tears to everyone's eyes, including Lisa's. Yet something shifted after they exchanged vows. The first Thanksgiving as a married couple, I noticed Lisa watching me with an odd expression when she thought no one was looking. By the following Christmas, her warm hugs had transformed into stiff, obligatory embraces. Within 2 years of their marriage, her attitude toward me had completely changed, though I could never pinpoint why. During a 4th of July barbecue at their house 3 years ago, I overheard Lisa speaking to her sister in the kitchen. "There is something about Bert that does not add up," she whispered, unaware I was approaching to offer help with the food. "The stories never quite match." I paused outside the doorway, confused by her statement. What stories? What inconsistencies had she perceived in my character? Rather than confront her, I retreated to the backyard where Aaron was grilling hamburgers, deciding it was better to let whatever misconception she had fade away. Naturally, but it never did. Instead, her coldness intensified. At family gatherings, she would subtly steer conversations away from childhood memories Aaron and I tried to share. She would find reasons to exclude me from certain events, telling Aaron I had been invited when no invitation had been extended. When I brought my wife Stephanie and our children to their home, Lisa would be perfectly hospitable to them while treating me with thinly veiled suspicion. "Have you noticed how Lisa acts around me?" I asked Stephanie after one particularly uncomfortable dinner. "It is like she is trying to catch me in a lie I never told." Stephanie nodded thoughtfully. "I have seen it too." "Have you done something to offend her?" I spent weeks replaying every interaction, searching for a misstep on my part, that could have triggered such animosity. Had I forgotten her birthday, made an inappropriate joke, failed to help with dishes after a meal? Nothing significant came to mind, and my attempts to repair whatever damage existed fell flat. Once I brought her an expensive bouquet and a bottle of wine as a peace offering. "Lisa, I feel like there has been some tension between us," I said directly. "If I have done something to upset you, please let me know so I can make it right." She accepted the gifts with a tight smile. "No tension at all, Bert. Everything is fine." But her eyes told a different story, one of deep distrust. The family secret she seemed determined to uncover remained a mystery to me. Yes, there had been whispers in our extended family about inheritance disputes after our grandfather's death. There had been vague allusions to questions of paternity in a distant branch of our family tree. But nothing directly involving Aaron and me, nothing that would justify Lisa's apparent crusade against my character. Despite this undercurrent of tension, I remained devoted to maintaining family harmony. My wife Stephanie understood the importance of these connections, especially for our children who adored their Uncle Aaron. We continued attending family functions, bringing dishes to pass, exchanging birthday and Christmas gifts, and pretending not to notice the cold shoulder I received from Lisa. "Family is complicated" became my mantra whenever Stephanie suggested confronting the issue head-on. Some battles are not worth fighting. Little did I know that Lisa had been planning her own battle all along, one that would bring our simmering tensions to a catastrophic boil. Last Christmas Eve arrived with a fresh dusting of snow across the Twin Cities. Stephanie and I packed our station wagon with carefully wrapped presents, homemade cranberry bread, and our two sleepy children, Jacob 10 and Emma 7. The drive to Aaron and Lisa's suburban home took 40 minutes each mile, increasing my usual pre-visit anxiety. Their house stood out in the neighborhood, festooned with tasteful white lights and a hand-crafted wreath on the front door. Inside, the scent of cinnamon and pine created the perfect holiday atmosphere. Aaron greeted us with bear hugs, while Lisa offered polite cheek kisses and took the cranberry bread to the kitchen without meeting my eyes. Uncle Bert. Their son Tyler, who had just turned 6, came barreling down the stairs and launched himself into my arms. "Did you bring me something awesome, Tyler?" Lisa called sharply from the kitchen. "That is not polite." I winked at my nephew. "Good things come to those who wait, buddy." The gathering included a small circle of family, our parents now civilly remarried to other people, Lisa's parents, her sister, Kathy, and us. Dinner progressed pleasantly enough with conversations about work achievements, school performances, and community news, carefully navigated to avoid sensitive topics. I noticed Lisa seemed unusually animated, making more eye contact with me than she had in years. After the meal, we gathered in the living room around their towering Christmas tree for the gift exchange. Lisa volunteered to distribute presents, an uncharacteristic enthusiasm brightening her features. She disappeared into the guest bedroom and returned with a stack of identically wrapped rectangular packages. "Before we start with the regular gifts," she announced, "I have something special for everyone." She distributed the packages, saving mine for last, holding my gaze as she placed it in my hands. "I have become fascinated with genealogy lately. These are DNA testing kits. Would not it be fun to discover our heritage together as a family?" Aaron looked surprised. "You did not mention you were getting these, honey. I wanted it to be a surprise," Lisa replied, her eyes never leaving my face. Some results might be surprising for all of us. A chill ran through me that had nothing to do with the winter weather outside. Something in her expression, a mixture of anticipation and barely concealed hostility, triggered internal alarm bells. This was not an innocent family activity. This was a trap, though I could not fathom what she expected to catch. "What a thoughtful gift," my mother said, breaking the tension. I have always wondered about my grandmother's stories of Native American ancestry. As others began excitedly discussing potential heritage discoveries, Lisa cornered me in the hallway on my way to the bathroom. "You will take the test, right, Bert?" Her voice carried a challenging edge. "Sure," I answered cautiously. "Though I am not sure what you expect to find." She leaned closer. "Family bloodlines tell interesting stories. Do not they? Sometimes they reveal uncomfortable truths about who we really are." Her words dripped with insinuation. Lisa, what exactly are you getting at? Her smile never reached her eyes. Just curious about our extended family tree, especially the branches that might have been grafted on. She walked away before I could respond, leaving me confused and defensive. That night, as Stephanie and I drove home with sleeping children in the back seat, I recounted the strange interaction. She practically accused me of not being who I claimed to be, I said, gripping the steering wheel tightly. It was bizarre. Stephanie placed her hand on my knee. Are there any family secrets you have not told me about? Anything that would explain her behavior? Nothing. I insisted, then hesitated. Well, there were always rumors that someone in our extended family had been secretly adopted, but those stories existed in every generation. Nothing specific about Aaron or me. Are you going to take the test? Stephanie asked. I drove in silence for several miles, weighing my options. If I refuse, Lisa will take that as confirmation of whatever she suspects. If I take it, well, I have nothing to hide. Then take it, Stephanie said simply. Whatever she thinks she will find the truth will put an end to it. That night I lay awake, wondering what possibly could have fueled Lisa's suspicions over the years. Was there something my parents had never told me? Some family secret I had been protected from? By morning I had resolved to take the test, if only to put Lisa's strange vendetta to rest once and for all. January dragged on with an unusual quiet from Lisa's corner. At our monthly family dinner, she seemed smugly satisfied watching me with the air of someone who had set a perfect trap. Aaron remained oblivious to the undercurrents, though he mentioned Lisa had been tracking the status of everyone's test kits obsessively. She is checking the mail 3 times a day, he told me while we washed dishes together. I have never seen her so interested in family history before. I focused on drying a serving platter. Has she mentioned why this suddenly matters so much to her? Aaron shrugged. She says she wants our son to know his full heritage. Makes sense, I guess. I wanted to warn my brother about his wife's strange behavior toward me. But how could I explain something I myself did not understand? Instead, I changed the subject to safer territory. The Vikings' playoff chances. 3 weeks after mailing our samples, the email notifications began arriving. My parents received their results first, followed by Stephanie. Each arrival prompted a text from Lisa asking about surprising discoveries. When my notification finally appeared in my inbox, I felt a knot form in my stomach. I waited until I was alone in my home office to open the results. My hands trembled slightly as I clicked through the website. The ethnic breakdown showed nothing remarkable. 68% Northern European, 22% Eastern European, 7% Irish, and 3% broadly European. No unexpected heritage, no genetic markers for unusual conditions. Just the straightforward genetic makeup I had always assumed based on our known family history. I texted Lisa, got my results. Pretty much what I expected. She replied immediately. Interesting. Bring your login details to dinner next Sunday. I am compiling everyone's information. The following Sunday we gathered at Aaron and Lisa's house again. Lisa had prepared an elaborate presentation complete with a digital family tree projected onto their dining room wall. Her excitement seemed genuine, but I noticed she kept glancing at me with barely contained anticipation. I have connected everyone's results, she announced after dinner. And there are some fascinating findings. She clicked through slides showing distant cousins' unexpected Scottish heritage in her father's line and the confirmation of my mother's Native American ancestry. With each revelation, she seemed to be building towards something bigger. But the most interesting discovery, she said, her voice rising slightly, is about immediate family connections. Aaron wrapped his arm around her shoulders. What did you find, honey? Lisa clicked to the next slide, which showed a series of DNA matches. According to the tests, there is something unusual about our family structure. She turned to face me, directly, triumph in her eyes. The test shows that. Wait, Aaron interrupted, squinting at the screen. That cannot be right. Lisa faltered. Aaron stood up and approached the projection. Why does it say Tyler only shares 24% DNA with me? That cannot be correct. The room fell silent. Lisa's face drained of color. Children share 50% of their DNA with each biological parent, my father said slowly. He had worked in medical research before retirement and understood the implications immediately. All eyes turned to Lisa, whose planned moment of triumph had transformed into something else entirely. The smugness evaporated, replaced by naked panic. There must be a mistake with the test, she stammered. These consumer kits are not always accurate. Aaron's expression hardened as understanding dawned. 24% is approximately the share for a half-sibling or uncle relationship. His voice was deadly quiet. Lisa, is there something you need to tell me about our son? The room erupted in chaos. Lisa began crying Aaron, demanding answers their son Tyler, appearing at the top of the stairs, asking why everyone was shouting. My parents exchanged horrified glances, while Stephanie quickly gathered Tyler and our children, ushering them outside to play in the backyard. It was one mistake, Lisa finally shouted when cornered. One time with Jason, Aaron's college friend who had served as a groomsman at their wedding. The revelation hit Aaron like a physical blow. He staggered backward, gripping the edge of the dining table for support. 6 years, he whispered. 6 years believing he was mine. Lisa turned on me, her face contorted with rage and humiliation. This is your fault. You brought all this up with your secrets. My secrets. I was genuinely baffled. Lisa, I have no idea what you are talking about. You are not even Aaron's real brother, she screamed. Everyone in the family knows it except him. I was trying to protect him from your lies. A stunned silence followed her accusation. Aaron looked between us, confusion and betrayal warring on his face. Lisa, my mother said in a shaking voice, what on earth gave you that idea? Before she could answer, Aaron strode to the front door, grabbed his jacket, and walked out. The slam reverberated through the house, leaving a deafening silence in its wake. I exchanged a quick look with Stephanie before following my brother into the cold February night. I found Aaron sitting on a park bench 2 blocks away, his breath forming clouds in the frigid air. Without speaking, I sat beside him, our shoulders touching in silent solidarity. For 20 minutes we sat without words, the weight of what had happened pressing down on us both. Did you know, he finally asked, voice rough with emotion. About Tyler, no. I answered honestly. I had no idea. He nodded, accepting my answer without question. The trust between us still intact, despite the earthquake that had just devastated his life. Another long silence stretched between us. What did Lisa mean? He eventually asked. About you not being my real brother, I shook my head. I have absolutely no idea. As far as I know, we share the same parents. There has never been any suggestion otherwise. Aaron ran his hands through his hair. She has been obsessed with this idea for years. It started after we got married. We visited Aunt Judith for Thanksgiving. Remember, you could not make it that year. I nodded. Aunt Judith, our father's older sister, had always been the family gossip. She made some comment about how I was the spitting image of Dad, but you took after Mom's side. Lisa asked her if we had different fathers as a joke. But Aunt Judith got this strange look and changed the subject. Lisa never let it go after that. That is what this has all been about? I asked incredulously. Some half-baked theory based on a strange look from Aunt Judith. She found old photos where you and Dad looked nothing alike. She collected evidence, different blood types, the fact that Dad always favored me, the timing of their brief separation before you were born. Aaron sighed heavily. I told her she was imagining things, that families just have complicated dynamics. But she became convinced you were keeping some dark secret that would hurt me. The pieces finally clicked into place. The suspicion, the cold shoulder, the careful steering away from childhood memories. Lisa had constructed an elaborate conspiracy theory with me at the center. So she got the DNA tests to expose me, I said slowly. But instead it exposed her. Aaron's voice cracked. The irony would be funny if it were not destroying my life. My son, not my biological son. Tyler is still your son, I said firmly. You have raised him, loved him, been there for every milestone. Biology is just genetics. Family is something deeper. Aaron looked at me, tears streaming down his face. How do I ever trust her again? 6 years of lies, Bert. 6 years. I do not know, I admitted. But whatever you decide, I am here for you. That is what brothers do. Real brothers. The conversation lasted for hours as the temperature dropped and stars appeared overhead. Aaron cycled through rage, grief, disbelief, and back again. I listened, offered support where I could, and simply provided the steady presence he needed. When we finally returned to the house, most of the family had gone. Lisa sat alone at the dining table, eyes red from crying. Stephanie had taken Tyler to our house, along with our children, sensing the need for space. "We need to talk," Aaron told Lisa, his voice flat. "Bert, thank you." I nodded, understanding I was being dismissed. As I turned to leave, Lisa caught my eye. "I am sorry," she whispered. I was so sure. I did not respond. Some apologies come too late after too much damage has been done. I left them to begin the difficult conversation that would determine the future of their marriage. In the weeks that followed, the full story emerged. Lisa's suspicion had indeed started with Aunt Judith's odd reaction years ago. She had spent years gathering evidence of my supposed deception, collecting family photos where I looked different from Aaron, noting personality differences, even stealing a hair from my comb during a visit to run her own private DNA test. The results had been inconclusive, fueling her certainty that I was hiding something. Her goal with the Christmas DNA kits had been to force the truth into the open, believing she was protecting Aaron from a lifetime of deception. She had never considered the possibility that her own secret would be revealed instead. The painful irony was that there was no family secret about my birth. When the official results came back linking Aaron and me as full biological siblings, Lisa's years-long conspiracy theory crumbled completely. She had destroyed her marriage, chasing a phantom. Aaron moved into my guest room for 3 months. During late-night conversations, he revealed more about their marriage than I had ever known. Lisa's deep-seated insecurities, her fear of abandonment, stemming from her own parents' turbulent relationship, her tendency to create elaborate scenarios to explain simple misunderstandings. She always needed someone to be the villain, he explained one night. For years, that person was you. I never realized how far it had gone. 6 months later, the landscape of our family had shifted dramatically. Aaron and Lisa had begun marriage counseling, with Aaron moving back home on a trial basis. The truth about Tyler's biological parentage remained between them, Aaron unwilling to disrupt his son's sense of identity despite everything that had happened. Lisa approached me privately during a family birthday celebration, asking to speak alone on the back porch. "I owe you an explanation," she said, hands wrapped tightly around a mug of coffee, "and an apology that cannot possibly make up for what I put you through." She explained how her own family history of secrets and lies had made her hypervigilant to perceived deception. The ambiguous comment from Aunt Judith had triggered something deep within her, a need to protect Aaron from potential pain which had morphed into an obsession. "I convinced myself I was doing the right thing," she said, voice thick with regret. "I never stopped to consider I was creating the very problem I feared. Why not just ask me directly?" I questioned. All these years of cold shoulders and suspicion when a simple conversation might have cleared everything up. She looked away. "Because part of me needed you to be the villain. It was easier than facing my own issues." She paused. "The cruel irony is that in trying to expose what I thought was your lie, I ended up exposing my own. I did not offer immediate forgiveness. Some wounds take time to heal, and the trust she had broken would not be easily repaired." But I acknowledged her apology with a nod. "Are you and Aaron going to be okay?" I asked. "I do not know," she answered honestly. "We are trying. Tyler deserves that much." The counseling sessions continued. Aaron worked through his feelings of betrayal, while Lisa confronted the deep-seated insecurities that had driven her behavior. Tyler remained blissfully unaware of the adult complications, still adoring his father, who, biology aside, loved him unconditionally. My relationship with Aaron grew stronger through the ordeal. The false accusation about our brotherhood had ironically reinforced the depth of our connection, one based on shared experiences, mutual support, and genuine love rather than mere genetics. "You know what the strangest part is," Aaron said during one of our now weekly fishing trips. "If Lisa had been right, If you had turned out to be my half-brother, or whatever she suspected, it would not have changed a thing between us. You would still be my brother in every way that matters. I cast my line into the lake, considering his words. Family is more than DNA. It is showing up for each other, especially when things get hard. Exactly, Aaron nodded. The irony is that Lisa never understood that. She thought exposing some biological truth would change our relationship when really it is the history we have shared that makes us brothers. As for Lisa and me, we established a fragile truce. The suspicion in her eyes had been replaced by shame, then gradually by cautious respect. Our conversations remained stilted, but the open hostility had dissipated. For the sake of the children who remained innocent participants in this adult drama, we maintained civil interactions. The DNA tests that were meant to expose a non-existent secret had instead revealed a fundamental truth. Family bonds are formed through love and loyalty, not just shared genetics. Tyler was still Aaron's son, in all the ways that truly mattered. Aaron and I were still brothers, regardless of what any test might have shown. Life continues to evolve in unexpected ways. Aaron and Lisa remain in counseling, their marriage a work in progress. Tyler grows more like Aaron every day in mannerisms and character, proving that nurture often outweighs nature. My own children have learned valuable lessons about forgiveness and resilience, watching the adults in their lives navigate complex emotional terrain. As for me, I have found peace with what happened. The suspicion I endured for years was painful, but it led to greater clarity and stronger bonds where they truly mattered. Sometimes the truth, even when it arrives through painful circumstances, ultimately sets everyone free. The most profound lesson from this experience is how secrets and suspicion can poison even the closest relationships. Truth, while sometimes painful, provides the only foundation for authentic connection. Our family will never be the same after what happened, but perhaps we are stronger for having faced these challenges together. Have you ever experienced a situation where someone's attempt to expose you backfired on them instead? Share your stories in the comments below. And if this tale of family secrets and unexpected revelations resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps me continue sharing these real-life experiences that remind us all how complex and surprising family dynamics can be. Thank you for listening. And remember, sometimes, the families we choose and build through trust and loyalty prove stronger than the ones determined merely by DNA.